Oh, Kim is here.
Yes,
Oh,
she
she
is.
is? Oh, great.
Kim, where are you?
I'm
Oh,
sitting.
there you are.
So, Ms. Joan, I'm starting the meeting. So, today is May 18th, and it is 6:04. And this is the Groton Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting. The first order of business is the acceptance of the COW meeting minutes of May 11th. Can I have
First,
thank you, Lee. Can I have a second? I've got Gretchen. Any discussion?
I couldn't open the minutes, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay. All right. All right. Any other? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting of the meeting minutes of May 11th, 2020, please raise your hands.
Andrea?
I got Andrea.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry.
you got mine. It's Lee.
And I got Gretchen.
1, 2,
Um,
3, 4,
Oppose,
5.
abstain would be Rita.
Yep.
So the motion has passed. Okay, the next order of business is a discussion of the special education curriculum coordinator position. And Dr. Grenier,
Yeah.
where are you? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm
here.
trying to find you on my screen. So I'm going to let you.
Okay, sure. When there was, I know there were some concerns about trying to figure out exactly what we were hoping for this position. And I met with Ted and Peter and Jeff and as you can see a few of the folks here. And then we shared some of that information with Claire DePeter Powers and Celeste Duffy. So I thought, and maybe we'll start with Ted, because this whole notion of the coordinators kind of started with Ted. And so I thought it'd be helpful for the board to kind of understand what we're thinking about this position. And then if we're going to move forward, we'll move forward. If we don't move forward, then so be it. But Ted, you want to kick it off?
Sure, thanks, Mike. Well, I think the conversation really started with my admin team and Mike and Susan, just in regard to how we can help the administrators get into the classrooms more and really trying to give them time to be in classrooms. And I think that talking with Aaron and Matt, and just looking at the amount of time they were taking in these meetings, it was important that we get some support there. And I think that that's why we really started with the special ed. And then the last piece was, how can we try to make sure that we have some kind of continuity with the services, that we have someone really overseeing the services that we're offering at the different levels, and what we're offering for whatever particular disability we're dealing with, or student that we're dealing with. So that was the reason that I really looked at this as an important position. And when I went and talked with Aaron or talked with Matt and asked them, how much time are you actually spending in these meetings? It was a lot, and that was the real concern. That how can I get them into classrooms and doing the work that I really need them doing to get the kind of improvement that we want to get at Fitch High School, and that's why we're looking for this support.
Let me hop over to Peter. Peter and Ted are going to be the two principals that are going to theoretically benefit from this position.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Grenier. Yeah, I'm also in strong support of this position for a couple of reasons. One, when you take a look at having a number of administrators, whether it's coming from elementary to middle, or middle to high school, or just in the high school itself, having that consistency is important, because we need to ensure that there's equity for our students in the programs that they're giving. And having a person designated to be the point for several PPTs during a child's 6 through 12 continuum has great benefit. Secondly, I would like to speak to the fact that in order to establish a strong culture of learning at the middle school, particularly at the new middle school, it's going to be critical that the principal and the assistant principals are out, visible in the hallways, in the classrooms as much as possible. So if we are able to be able to take some of the PPT meeting burden off of those people's plates, is going to allow us, which is particularly important from the very, very start of Groton Middle School, to be able to set the structure and set the culture and tone for the school. You know, we think about the grade levels. You know, if I've got, you know, for example, Keith Danieluk working with 8th graders, if he's in meetings a day and a half to 2 days for PPTs a week, that's time that he's not engaged with students.
Is that the kind of time that the assistants have been dedicating? I see Claire nodding her head.
Yeah, I think in the high school, it's a lot. You know, I think that we're talking about at the middle and high school, 538 students that we are servicing that we're going to be able to get assistance with this particular position. You got 172 students with 504 plans at both the high school and middle schools, and 366 students with IEPs. If you're just talking about one meeting a year, which it's more than that, but it's if we went with the bare minimum of one meeting a year, then we're talking a significant amount of time here that we're taking away. I know for a fact that there were weeks at the beginning of the year that's all one of my administrators would be doing, was just being in 504's IEP meetings pretty much the entire week. And so the, you know, to just lighten the load on this, and I don't think it takes our administrators completely out of these meetings at all. We're still going to have to support that. But even just a little bit of help in that area would allow us to do the really, the work that we really should be doing, which is getting into classrooms and working with students individually.
I know, Claire, you wanted to chime in, I thought.
I was just going to say that's 100% true. And as for scheduling around administrator schedules, it also becomes really problematic when you have a parent that you really want to get in, but you can only offer them like from 9 to 11 on this Tuesday of the month, because that's when it comes close to their meeting time. And that's when there was an administrator available. And sometimes we don't get to see the parents that we really, really, really need to have face-to-face time with, because we're trying to structure our meetings around when an administrator is available, as opposed to having a little bit more flexibility with that time. So not only is it a lot of time for the administrators, it has to be a structured time for them. And sometimes it comes in conflict with what you really need to do for the family as well.
Thanks. Celeste, are you there?
I'm here. I agree with everything that's been said. I didn't realize this was that kind of focus. Just scheduling PPTs in general is highly problematic and then especially needed is the administrator, the parent, the teacher, special ed teacher. It could be related services. So having one person who is a familiar person with their hands in holding up a big umbrella would be very, very helpful.
Jeff, I know you kind of chimed in over the last couple of days. You feel pretty strongly about this.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I agree with everything that's been said. I mean, the administrator's role really is to be visible in the school. And that visibility really helps in reducing discipline issues, developing relationships with students and staff, developing trust with staff is critical. Dealing with discipline with all 1,100 kids in the middle school and just 4 administrators and the amount of evaluations that we have. the quickest way an administrator can become disengaged with students and staff is by sitting in an office or in meetings all day. I'm not saying that it's not important for us to be in these PPTs, because I think it is important to know our students that have IEPs and their disabilities too. But I just think any help that we can get would be great.
Matt, you want to weigh in? You had some succinct points from our conversation last week.
Yeah, and I think everybody's already really chimed in on, I mean, the biggest thing is what you'd get from this is you're going to get us in classrooms more. And, you know, that's one of the reasons, you know, we love teaching, we want to coach teaching, but, you know, the more we can get in there, the more effective we're going to be at you know, promoting the craft of our teachers and giving them the input that we feel could really help. Another thing, you know, most of the PPTs with scheduling, a lot of times they fall at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So those are times when, you know, a lot of times me and Erin are really pulled 9 o'clock and like, so consistently we have to get all our visits to classrooms and so forth at the other times of the day. And you want to be at different times of the day. You want to be able to see what's going on, see the feel of the class, and get into every class, different levels and so forth. I think the biggest thing that this does, though, you know, for us is getting into classrooms and guiding instruction and being visible, getting to know the students. And, you know, I'm just really echoing what other people are saying.
Thanks. And the last one I just like to chime in, because she probably knows more than anyone else, is Erin. Can you chime in, Erin?
I can. I mean, just to kind of piggyback what Matt was just saying, I mean, the mission and goal of the district is teaching and learning, and the district has spent so much time, resources, effort into improving the curriculum, moving instruction forward. And the only way we keep that momentum is actually us getting into the classroom, making sure that curriculum is being executed with fidelity, and that, you know, we're assisting teachers and giving, you know, assistance, you know, where they need it and where we're seeing it, and being a presence to the students. I think it's also important to note as well that I also am running the school counseling department at the high school, and many times I am also working with the middle school counselors, and so that's another variable. And I think it's important to note that this position is not going to be able to handle all of the 504s and IEPs that, you know, Ted just mentioned. There are many students, but it will certainly help get the administrators at the middle school and high school back into the classroom more, and just being able to work with students on all fronts.
So Kim, we're ready, I think, to answer questions. When I knew there was these concerns, I said we had a little meeting, and I said, well, I mean, the big question to me is, status quo is you don't have it, or we implement the position. And I kind of asked everybody, you know, what do you lose out, or what do you gain if you have this position? So I think what you just heard is what you gain.
Okay, so I'm just for order, I'm gonna do Rita. I had caught you first, and then Liz after that. Is there another member of the board? And then I have Andrea. Okay, so if we could kind of go in that order, that would be great. Rita.
Sure. I have a concern that I don't believe it should even be called a special education curriculum coordinator. I see this person as going from one PPT to another. When I think of a curriculum coordinator, I think of somebody who's going to be driving the curriculum. How is this person going to do that? My other concern is I would like a chart of the special education department. We have added administrators over the year, and those do not count then towards the administrator that's in. I mean, let's say if Matt has to go into a meeting. Now, is there an administrator from special ed there? A teacher's? No. Then why not? Well, I mean, we have these administrators now that we've added in our special education department. Why can't, I thought they would be taking the place of the principals and the vice principals, and they wouldn't have to spend as much time doing those PPTs.
You want to weigh in on that, Denise?
Sure. Sure. So Rita, to answer your first question, the coordinator would be able to monitor the curriculum in the sense that he or she would be able to ensure that there's consistency in program development. He or she would also be able to monitor needs of the staff in terms of training, and then consistency in the delivery of instruction.
But I mean, then what are the other people in your department doing if they're not doing that?
Sure. So then the second part of your question is in terms of the other supervisors and myself. So directly related to the high school, I supervise the self-contained ABA multiple disabilities classroom and attend and chair those meetings. Amy Rutolo supervises and attends all the meetings for the New Beginnings Alternative Program. And then in addition to that, Amy and I alternate in terms of PPTs that are more complex and more complicated.
So are you there as well as a high school administrator in the PPTs?
It depends. Sometimes if I'm there, they will not attend, especially if they have other pressing things to address. Other times they will attend because I will need them there to help explain the model or answer questions. I would say it's 50-50.
Okay. My other concern is that we are going to have 2 elementary schools with over 600 students, which is going to be larger than Fitch High School, larger than our middle school. And we'll have a principal and a vice principal in those schools. How are they going to handle all the special education? You know, I just feel that so much, I mean, we have 3 administrators, and I'm not sure whether or not the dean is ever goes into any of these PPT meetings. If he's an administrator, he has an 092, I believe, right? So there are 4 at the high school. Right now we have 3 administrators in our middle school, and yet we're going to have these large elementary schools that are going to have 2 people. So I am concerned. I mean, I just don't see, you know, we need to spread this out. I mean, maybe this person should be a K through 12 curriculum coordinator, and then that's all they do, is because we have a very big special education department now. When I was on the board in the beginning, there was just Denise. And then we've added and added and added, and now we want to add some more. So I just question this position. I don't want administrators spending all their time, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school. But I just don't understand why more people that are the administrators in the special ed department aren't taking over these roles. And I thought that's why we hired them.
Can I add one thing that I think is really critical, is that we spend about $2.5 million on magnet schools. That means that we have a huge caseload of children with special needs who are at Learn schools, New London schools, who are outplaced. So all of our 3 supervisors and Denise take on a real rigorous schedule of PPTs outside of our own district. I think the way that Denise has it structured, where Nadine Macklin takes over all the preschool and kind of early childhood, and she is in many, many, many PPTs to oversee that. Lori Luciani takes care of elementary and middle school academy programs and does help support a lot of PPTs too. They all support teacher evaluation with those programs that they're overseeing. Okay. So I think our number, because we're up to, I think, what, 17.5% special education. We're one of the largest districts with the highest number of special education cases.
Yeah, we're
so
17.2.
Okay.
What is it?
17.2% for 1920.
The state,
including 504s.
No.
Just special education.
But doesn't that include 504 plans?
No.
The state average is about 15, I believe.
Yeah, the state is 15.6.
So I think there was a particular need. I know Amy Rottola has been able to help out in some instances at the high school, but because she oversees that and that New Beginnings program as well and does so much outside of the district, for all of our cases that are magnets or out of district placement, that it really ties their hands for, being able to do all of this.
I mean, it would still be very helpful if we had a chart of administrators' duties, even from the central office on down. It would be nice. We haven't had one of those in a long time.
Okay, I'm moving us to Liz.
Yeah, I have similar concerns that Rita has. I totally understand where you're coming from, Erin, Matt, Ted, Peter, Jeff. I really understand it. I've been there. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think if we look at this, I agree with Rita. I think we have a structure that needs to maybe be restructured within the special ed department. Maybe we can use Amy Rotolo a little bit more. I just think that we're adding another layer when there's more important things for curriculum coordinators for the district to need to look at. I really think that we've clustered a STEM and English language arts and then humanities. We haven't had curriculum coordination in our 5 core areas in years, and that needs to be addressed. And when I saw this, so I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying the specialized group, I understand that, and I applaud you, Susan, believe me, of all the hard work you've gone through. But I really believe that, we're one of those districts that doesn't have those lead teachers or those curriculum wrong terminology. We don't have those instructional leaders or department leaders that are specialized in their departments and that need to come back. We used to have a strong department. We had curricular coordination that was well written. And I just think I would like to see, like Rita has said, I would like to see what the structure is of the special ed department is. I would like to see how we could restructure if possible. And, and lend more support to our curricular areas. That's my spiel.
Dr. Ackerman?
I have basically 2 concerns. One of them is it's my understanding that the new curriculum coordinators will do what Liz has just suggested, and that is offer not only the curriculum coordination within their discipline, but they'll be taking over some of the evaluations. So that should free up the administrators to be able to go to PPTs. And I'm very concerned as a former administrator that there won't be a building administrator in the PPT. I think that's vital. So in my view, we should be looking at giving more evaluation to the teachers, to the coordinators, I'm sorry, and then ensuring that the building administration is in the PPT.
Mike, can I make a quick point in regard to some of the?
Wait,
Oh,
Ted,
sorry.
I want to, I'm going to go through the board. Gretchen, did I hear you raise your hand?
Yes, you did. Very loudly. So a while back, we had a superintendent who was very, very proud of his increasing our special ed numbers and making us a top-end special ed needs district. So that's where we see some of this for. So I guess my question is, are we looking, so many things here. Is this a, part of this is a state mandate, federal mandate that we have these people come in to help?
No, not at all.
No, so this is just something we're choosing to do. So are we looking for someone, so to make it easier for everybody, are we looking for someone who to coordinate the special ed program and the teachers, or are we looking for someone to go to PPTs?
I would say more to coordinate the PPT coverage in 504 meetings at both, we're gonna have 2,000 students at these schools. And I'm just concerned in the fall, especially Peter, Jeff, and I have had lot of talks about this. We're trying to make this school quote small, and so we see 3 administrators, one for a 6th grade, one for a 7th grade, one for the 8th grade. I really want to maximize their interaction with kids and teachers. And to Rita's point, this is a half-time teaching job. I think as we look forward to the consolidation of the elementary schools, it's not inconceivable that perhaps it would become a full-time person and they would help K-12. I actually think, but I want to be sure everyone understands that this is a half-time teaching job, and we're shifting some duties.
Gretchen, I know that you want to talk, but I've got Jane.
Yeah, I'll try and remember that.
Jane?
I hate to see the brakes put on at this point. What I've learned about schools in Groton, the teachers, the administrators are all very dedicated. They're all the ones I've seen are progressive in their thinking. I would hate to stop and put the brakes on now and back up to old ways. I think we need to respect what these people have decided to do with reason, and let them do it. And then we can see how that goes, but not to go backwards. Groton has come too far to do that.
Jane, I have a hard time when you say things like that, but I'm going to leave it there.
Well, I've been around the windy corner in education, so you need to know that I bring with me experience and some baggage, and a deep respect for change when it's important for kids. And I think this is important for the adults as well as the kids. As a step in the progression, things are changing. It's not, not do or die.
I've got Gretchen, I've got Andrea, and then I've got
Liz.
I've got Gretchen, I've got Andrea, and then I've got Liz. Gretchen.
Okay, so what you're saying, Dr. Grenier, is this person they're going to have a classroom in half of the day and then work on PPTs, or are they going to float during the day so the teachers have freedom to go to coverage?
No, it's a half-time teaching position and a half-time administrator.
Oh, I'll figure it out when we do it.
Yeah. I just like the other curriculum coordinators. They'll teach one day and they'll be an administrator the next day.
That's the structure of the other 3.
That's right. Andrea.
I know that we have a job description drawn up, but I don't know that I'm really hearing that the role of the administrator, the curriculum coordinator for special ed, has been truly defined at the school level. That's a concern.
Agreed.
We could certainly go back to that. Rita mentioned the title of the position. I tell you, I'm not married to the title of the position. I'm just married to the function. And perhaps, Andrea, we could clarify the job description just for that position and give it an appropriate name, like campus special services coordinator or something. I was just looking at Erin's numbers. She put a little chat thing up, and she was saying that at Westside there were 138 students with a 504 IIP, 136 at Cutler, and 264 at the high school. So that's 270. It's 2, 4, 3. About 5 and a quarter. That's 525 students. That's a lot of students. So if we called it the special services, or whatever you want, a coordinator, a campus coordinator, half-time, and that sort of leaves the window open for what I think Rita was hinting at, that maybe
we've also discussed the title as possibly a PPT facilitator.
I like that better.
And would that have to be in the administrators union?
Yes, I think so, because
administrator.
Well, I think so, but I mean, we could, but we need an administrator at the meeting. So I don't want to
Right.
cut our nose off to spite our face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the simple answer is you take someone who's teaching 6 classes right now, and you, or the department head type person who's teaching 4, you assign them 3, and you say, you're going to be the PPT. The reason I like special services, Denise, is because it incorporates 504.
Mhm.
Good point.
Or
Yep.
some term, support services facilitator or something like that.
I got
So
you.
we could do the job description again and come back to you.
Wait, 1 second. Liz, I have a board member who has not spoken yet, and so I'm going to recognize Lee. Lee, you're going to have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself. And then Liz, I'm going to go back to you, and then Andrea and Rita. You've moved on my screen, so you're now on the right and now on the left. So I have to pay attention to that. Stop moving on me, Lee.
Okay.
Here's my question. If we're talking about adding the same people we already have or new people to administrators, we sort of have dodged a bullet this year with our budgets. So we don't have anybody saying you have too many administrators. We're talking about adding whatever you want to call them, coordinators, whatever. Half the time, they're not going to be teaching. So my question is, there are going to be people who say, you're adding administrators.
We are.
Well, should we be doing that? Or can we come up with another semantic way?
Could I respond? Kim?
I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
Go ahead, Mike.
well, I was just going to say that people are always concerned about adding an administrator until it's my kid and I have a 504 problem and I'm saying I need a meeting. My kid has this problem yeah. So I think in the aggregate, people think that teachers do their thing. I'm looking at Celeste and Claire, and I have enormous respect for them. But as they both said, when you get to a meeting, we need to have the administrator there, and and if there's as I look at Denise, when there's a sexual harassment complaint, people darn near want their administrators to look into it, and they want it now. And so I try to balance it. Believe me, I don't think we want to be top heavy with administration, but I think we want to be responsive. And if by moving 1,000 kids to a middle school, I know Peter and Jeff are thinking hard about this. We want to have people out there, like Gretchen, you were saying once upon a time that Mr. whatever his name was your go-to person. We want that. We want the 6th graders to have a go-to person, 6th grade, and then 7th grade, and then 8th grade, and hands off. So people don't like administrators until they need one.
I'm missing I'm missing the kick underneath the.
No, I see it. I see it in your face.
I don't know how to do it with virtually. Liz,
right.
You have to wait. I have another board member that has not spoke. Jay.
So I've been listening to all of this, and I understand the concern about the message we're sending, about adding administrators at this time, but it just seems to me, of all of our populations right now, that special ed may be most at risk. As a non-educator, it just seems to me that they are probably not adjusting to distance learning, perhaps as well. And I'm just all for whatever we can do to support that population.
Jay, thank you. Liz?
I just want to clarify. I'm not against having a curriculum, a special ed person, a facilitator to help out. I really see the need for that. Please understand that. What I'm saying is we brought together this concept of these secondary curriculum coordinators. And I just think we're missing, I wish we hadn't even put the special ed, that there had been 3 and then a special ed one that wasn't under curriculum coordinator, because I, like Rita and others who have said this doesn't sound to me like it's going to go along as strong as a curriculum coordinator, that's going to be, the curriculum is going to be almost secondary in respect. PPTs are incredibly important. You need to make sure you have the services. So I'm kind of wondering if we've had a misnomer here. And also, I still don't know, and I would still like some clarification of what departments are going to be covered by the humanities. If we first went through, and if I remember correctly, if we first went through and we said, we're going to get curriculum coordinators, we're going to get 4 of them, 4 administrators. And then when we got the promotion, yeah, we did, Lee. And then we said, which ones we were going to do, all of a sudden we get STEM, ELA, and I've had this constant question that hasn't been answered yet. Well, what happens to world language, social studies? Where is the applied arts and the fine arts? And what about physical education? And I understand we're going to have the different levels. There's going to be department heads. And I understand that, that might be taken up, but we really need to look at this. I think the special ed should never have been put in here. It should have been a separate thing. And I just think if we can look at, and Denise, I would really appreciate the look at of, what the other people are doing, the different administrative structure within the special ed department. I just really feel, because it's been changed since I've left the district and I've now come back, and I would like to understand so that I do want to support what's best for our kids. I just don't think this is the place for it.
Okay.
Another special ed person.
Okay, so I am going to sort of move you along, Liz, because you're moving off the topic of special ed of person. But I do have a response to that. But Andrea, I know that you had requested to talk.
Yeah, I really want to see exactly how the high school is going to define this individual, because it didn't occur to me until Dr. Grenier said it, and then what Jay said really backs up what I'm thinking, and that is that this is going to be a part-time teacher. So they're going to be teaching one day and then administering the next. Who's got that class? And how is that class going to adjust to having a different teacher? I don't understand how that works.
A day, B day.
Say what?
A day, a bunch of classes, B days, no classes for that teacher.
Right. I get that part. I get. What happens to the class? The special ed class?
The classes meet every other day, Andrea. They don't 5 days a week. They only meet 2.5 days a week.
So where are those special ed kids? They're not self-contained?
No.
Where are they when the teacher's not there?
99% mainstream. Right, Denise?
Mm-hmm.
You have to unmute.
Unmute.
Sorry, Andrea, it's an 8-period day, so they would have a full schedule for 8 periods, but only 4 periods meet per day. So if this position is approved, the person in this position would only have classes scheduled on either A day or B day, not both. And so they either teach periods 1 through 4 or 5 through 8.
And the children are where? I'm still unclear.
They're mainstream by and large.
They would have a schedule for the day that this person is in PPTs that would put them in other classes with other teachers. Could be STEM, could be resource with another teacher.
I think, Andrea, I understand where you're coming from, because you're thinking about a self-contained group of children that are in the same room. every single day of the week. I think this would be probably a position that a resource teacher who only met with the students every other day
I see.
would do better, because I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Susan,
okay.
Susan, thank you for the
Yeah,
clarification.
thank you.
So I just want to remind the board of a couple of things. We approved for this budget the 4 positions. I think what has been very helpful, and I do need to, I know that the district staff are probably very frustrated with the Board of Ed right now because we've approved this position and then we're really having a lot of angst about that position. You want us to have this conversation because, as Rita and I both know, it is really hard to get administrative positions in Groton and sustained. So we've done it, but you're going to want us to be able to own this position. And quite frankly, the position, and this is to no fault of one's own, I think that this is why what I'm so proud about for this district is that the district staff and the Board of Ed can have these conversations and we can kind of have it rise to really what we want this position to be, both by the Board of Ed and by the district staff. So I'm excited about this conversation, but I know that it's weary for the district staff because you just want us to get it, right? But if we just do it, we're not owning it and we can't then help sustain it in the future. And that's what we're really working for. So please give us some time to really have these types of conversations. What I'm hearing from this conversation, Dr. Grenier, is this, that we are mistitled this 4th position, that it's not a curriculum coordinator, unlike the other curriculum coordinators that were there. But that I believe, and I mean, this position has already been approved. So I guess what would have to, if the board as a whole kind of said, yeah, we don't want to have the 4th position, we would need to kind of make a statement about that. But what I'm hearing from people's comments is that there seems to be a real need to have a coordinator for this position for the 6 through 12 to help coordinate the special ed, special services 504. That's what I'm hearing. And so I think we need to have that to be developed more into a job description that the board could then say, yeah, that's exactly what we're hearing, and that's exactly what we can have. One second, Lee. And so that's what I'm hearing about this position, is that we need to get more clarity about it because it's not a curriculum. You can't sell me that it's a curriculum coordinator position. And Denise, I understand that you would want that person to sort of be able to be the speak person, but if you're having them do that level of PPT meetings and teach, that's a tall order, I think, for it to be. So I want us to be able to sell the right goods for this position. So that's what I would ask. But I'm only one member of the board, but that's what I would ask, is that you come back with a curriculum, with a position title and responsibilities that we can then own. And to Rita's point, because it's never that we get this great people here. To Rita's point is, I think we do need to start hearing what the plan is about what we're going to do about the elementary schools. And Denise, I mean, you and Susan have your hands in the mix of that. And so I don't want to have a conversation about it tonight, but I think that we need to begin to think about that as we move forward with our budgets about what we need to do about the elementary schools. Lee, I saw your hand up.
And then I have a quick question.
And then Rita.
Can I go?
Yes, Lee.
When I see a number from Denise that I see where we're talking about 1 out of every 5 of our students has problems with special education in whatever, I don't for 1 second think that we don't need to have another person on there. I'm just saying that when push comes to shove, what the other people who don't think the way we think, are saying, oh, another administrator. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's obvious that we need this. I'm just saying, let's make it palatable.
Amen.
Yeah. So I have a question about this person. If this person also teaches special education and would be an administrator, could that person in a PPT represent two people? The teacher and the administrator, if she has a student in the classroom?
That's a good question.
Possibly, depending on the other makeup of the meeting.
So that would be good. My other question is that every other day, there's such a demand at the high school. I can't even see how this person's going to get down to the middle school. I mean, it just seems almost overwhelming to me that whoever this person is going to have to be running back and forth and has her caseload of students, and then the other day, it'll be split. I just think it's definitely has to be renamed and rethought of, and just have a nice flow chart of special education and what's really going on there now.
All right.
Would be helpful.
We'll do all of that for next week.
Yep.
Great.
Sounds
Thank
like
you.
a plan.
I do want to let you know, though, Rita, it's a misnomer to say that we have not ever heard about the recent development or how the structure of our special ed department has been.
No, I'd like to see it on paper. That's all I'm asking for.
I'm just saying we have seen that on paper too. It's about time that we have it we have it looked at because we do have Liz who is new and she's asked for it, but it is a misnomer to say that we have not seen that chart.
No, not never. I just haven't seen it recently. And I'd like it with everybody's job, things change, and I'd like to see exactly where everybody's going.
Right. I would just want to make sure that we have, I want to clear up that language a little bit.
Okay.
Right. So the marching orders is that we're going to get a different job description. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to thank the administrators and the teachers. I think it was really important for you to hear their voices. So thank you, everybody.
I do too.
Gretchen, do you have a comment about this?
Description and title.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a great idea. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
We're with
Thanks
you.
for understanding.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Is there, can we go to number 7? Because I know that we have some people here who probably were part of this last discussion, but also need to be part of this type and C position.
Yep. Sure.
Can we move to that, folks, so that we can have the people be on and then they can leave? Is that do I have consensus from the board?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So
Dr. Grenier, can you help us think about this?
with Peter and Jeff, my thing gets jumbled up too. Where'd you guys go? Did I see Peter?
Yeah.
Is Jeff still here? Jeff, I don't see. Okay. Well, anyway, and Beth, were you part of this too? No. Okay. So anyway, we sent you a document, and if you remember, there were 2 head coaches for basketball, for example, one for Westside and one for Cutler. So what we've done here is we've created and by the way, Mark, could I share a document, or could Ken share a document? When I try it, it says I can't.
For some reason, it's not working. I don't know why.
Okay.
I told Ken if he sent me a document, I can share it, I believe.
Oh, yeah? Oh, good. Okay. Well, this is sort of simple. Let me see if I can say this. We've added 2 assistant coaches. We've taken out the 2 head coaches. So we've added, we now have 1 head coach and 1 assistant coach for boys, 1 head coach for girls, and 1 assistant coach for girls. So those are, the assistant coaches are new let me see if I could, you have the document in front of you, Ken?
I do.
Oh, you do, okay.
You sent it to us with our board notes.
Okay.
I don't have that. And
I
Dr.
know we
Grenier,
have-
I was part of that conversation.
That's what I thought, okay. Oh, I see, okay, I'm back to reality. The head coach for the 2021 school year we of course have a head coach for the boys and a head coach for the girls. But we've increased the estimated money for the assistant coach for boys, so there'll be a head coach and an assistant coach for boys and girls. Same thing with soccer, and we've added 2 assistant coaches. And Beth, we figured out that as a percentage of the percentage of compared to what the head coach was at the high school. We never had assistant coaches here, but we created something quite similar mathematically.
We used the same formula that we had used to establish the assistant coach stipends at the high school. And we used that formula for establishing the pay rate in the stipend for the middle school.
We've added an assistant coach also for boys and girls, cross country and track. And then we added an assistant coach for softball. We added, this is new. We added a head coach for unified sports because it's now a 3-sport, very similar to the high school, what we did with the high school. Not as much money as the high school, but again, it's proportional, as Beth just said. And I think, help me out, Susan, is it in front of you? It doesn't look like it is. I think those were the changes because obviously we can't have 2 head basketball coaches. And so we've also expanded, and we're prepared to expand the intramural coverage. And if there are more kids, we'll add more intramural. We've got money in our enrichment account. We've got money in our sports account. But this would reflect. Peter, do you have the document in front of you? Probably not. You know what? I'm going to send it.
We did discuss, Mike, that if there was, a lot of folks have talked about starting a wrestling team at the middle school, but we thought it could be a club or an intramural first to see if there was that interest. So we thought through intramurals, we could work in other things that kids might be interested in too. So that might be, I think that was Claire to Peter Power's idea. So, but I do know that it's because we don't have 2 head coaches, 1 at each of the middle schools, because we're combining, there was some cost savings or cost avoidance with that.
Excuse me, Mark, I just sent it to you.
One of my questions is, why is the soccer coach about $1,000 less than a basketball coach that has fewer students for the head coach? There are many more people on a soccer team than there is on a basketball team. So I was just curious as why you would not have those salaries maybe meet in the middle and have them be both the same, or it's, and even like the track coach isn't as much as the head basketball coach, and there are many more kids on the middle school track teams. So there just seems to be some discrepancy.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Mark.
It's a shorter season, Rita, so it's not necessarily about like the number of kids they.
Really? You really think it's shorter?
Yeah, basketball goes from like November all the way to March, and like cross country goes from like the 3rd week in September, 2nd week in September to like the end of. So it's like cross country.
Well, I know cross country, but I meant the track team.
That's also a shorter season.
Well, I don't know. It starts in March and goes to June usually, or the end of May.
I don't know if that's true at the middle school.
I don't know if that's true at the middle school.
Well, when my kids were there, it did. And, and there are a lot of kids on the team. You have kids doing all sorts of things.
Right.
But I think that was the original, when that was originally negotiated, that's why it looks like that, is the length of season.
And that makes sense because I can tell you, I believe the CIAC guidelines for middle schools indicate that the track season starts after April 1st.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the basketball?
Claire is accurate.
And
November.
And soccer is really September, October. It's pretty much by the end of October, it's over.
Well, November.
They very rarely play into November.
Yeah, the championships, CIAC championships start at the early November. I know because I'm always amazed that football goes like a whole month more than soccer.
Right. But this is middle school.
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying, the season is shorter.
Yeah.
Claire's right. Mark, could you put that up again?
And you don't have anything for robotics. Is that what your building tech support is, instructional?
We don't have a robotics team at the middle school. We would, you know, we would propose them, and we'd come and ask you to negotiate a schedule stipend for it. It's conceivable.
Well, I was thinking that when you see all these different co-advisors for student council, that maybe you don't need 4 people, 2 from Westside, 2 from Cutler, and decrease those, and then maybe you could find the money for robotics. And then there's only one Westside Middle School coordinator for building tech support, and it doesn't appear that Cutler ever had that. I don't know.
I'm not sure what to say about the school in column A. I would tend to, I'm not sure how that was pulled.
Okay. Did you have a coordinator of building tech support instruction?
Yes, we did.
You did also.
Yes.
It's just not listed.
Right.
Peter is Cutler.
Are we seeing the full screen, or can we scroll down some more?
I have the whole thing in front of
Oh,
me.
you do. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the whole thing. If you have to scroll up. Did you see that number 46? You see it for Westside, but not for Cutler.
That's interesting.
Well, you know, it's conceivable they didn't have it when this thing was published. There are anomalies to this. Like sometimes we have positions and they're not filled, and sometimes.
Right, but it seems like the student council, you added people because, I mean, usually there was 1 advisor for student council, just like I don't think there are 2 at the high school. So I don't think there are 4 positions for one middle school.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Rita. Could you scroll up, Mark? A little bit more, please, into the last little thing.
I'm as far up as I can scroll.
Oh, really? Well, Rita's right. There are 4 student council. I dare say we don't need 4 student council advisors.
No.
Yeah, 4 doesn't sound right to me. You know, at this point at Cutler, we've got 2, but they split the position. So it might, and again, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't really speak to it too well, but it might be that we're seeing 4 when it's really only 2.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could weigh in. The stipend for student council at the middle school is $2,105. So
that's it.
That's a split.
It's split.
Yep.
It's really only 2. It's
Yep.
two positions.
Yeah, well, I think we should keep it as 2 positions. And if you want to do it in splitting, I think it would look better than having 4 there.
No, that's exactly right, Rita.
Peter, what about yearbook at Cutler?
Should be there.
Yeah,
You got it. Yeah, again, I can't speak to, I think we just had 1 yearbook, and again, I would tend to disregard that column A. But we project having 1 yearbook advisor. And again, that at Cutler this year was a split position, but we split the stipend.
Okay, sorry.
Advisors.
So we just, it just should, maybe we should have this redone where it says Groton Middle School. As opposed to all these.
Sure, we could do that.
Oh, because you do have it in like, some of it says Groton Middle School, like the head coach for
We can
Unified
clean it up.
Sports.
We'll clean it up and present it.
Yes, yeah, that'd be great.
Once again, this was a really kind of like a negotiation task, but because it really has to do about the Groton Middle School, I wanted to make sure that all of us got a chance to kind of take a look at the stipend, because this is part of a contract. So that's
Yeah, but Kim, would there be one advisor for the jazz band for Groton Middle School as opposed to two? And two for drama? You know what I mean? Like,
There should be 2 for each, I believe.
right, but do we need that? Is what I'm asking you.
Well, for drama, I would, if you want a spring production and a fall production, which is my dream with the Black Box Theater, you'd have to.
Okay.
Yes.
And with regard to the jazz band, I think you could be seeing 2 levels of jazz band. You know, I
Okay.
think what Kevin Mazzarella does right now, he's got a jazz lab band, which is open to anyone, and then a jazz band, which is by audition. And I think we've got 2 Board of Ed high school representatives who can both speak to that.
Yeah. And then the drama music is because of the arts, right? At
Correct.
Cutler.
Right. Drama music is a stipend that we would use only for a musical production.
Yes.
So it would be like the music director for the drama production.
Yeah, the drama music was added for the musical production, and the others, the regular drama was just for a regular play.
Mm-hmm.
If you look, the original thing from Lori Lapine, I think the reason why it's like West Side Cutler, it looks like maybe some of the things that we eliminated when there were 2 and now they're only going to be 1. She might have just sorted like 1 from Cutler, 1 from West Side, because there is a document that says like who was holding those positions at the other school. So I think that's just where I think that's how that sort is done. So it's like, you know, she kept the yearbook from one school and the newspaper from the other school.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Claire, I think you're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
As usual.
That's why we need Claire.
Clarification from Claire. Sorry.
This is how we figured out the middle school schedule. We said, Claire, what do you think?
And this doesn't even touch upon the enrichment opportunities like the math counts. And maybe it's that we do robotics through an enrichment program and see how we can grow it.
Exactly.
Right.
And then figure out it, you know, because we have those resources and we've used them for elementary and middle school. And I think it's certainly supported our having some high quality programs.
Mm-hmm. Is the building, where it says coordinator for building tech support instructional, what is that, an after school program?
No, each of our buildings has had a tech support person, like Corey Mott is at Mary Morrison. So they've done everything from helping to solve problems at the building level to running some professional development for teachers.
Okay.
You know, and during this time of distance learning, a lot of them have been our go-to people. You know.
Okay, so are we only having one then? Like they just made
Well,
one?
it's a big school. I don't know. I guess the high school only has one at this point. So
Okay.
I'm sure they'll let us know if they need more.
Right.
So what's the will of the board on this?
I think it has to come back with it sorted out as Groton Middle School. Not all these different positions every place for Cutler or West Side.
So I would say, based upon what Claire said, I would just take a look at column A and call it GMS. The positions, the number of positions there are accurate, particularly when you, as Ken mentioned, that one issue that we thought was there with regard to having 4 advisors for student council actually really only is 2 when you look at the stipend. So
maybe Lori could put the total stipend in instead of the split, and you guys work out the split deal on your own.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My only concern is if we delay it another week, the positions for assistant coaches have not been posted, and we really want to get things, folks in positions, particularly for the fall sports, immediately. You know, we want to get input from coaches on things like uniform design and that sort of thing.
So Peter, let me do people agree to, in essence, what is being proposed, just that it just needs to be kind of cleared up so that we can understand it? But do the board members, do we in essence agree to sort of how this has been split up?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So
clean it up for board members.
Yeah, and clean it up also for the student council.
For the document to be cleaned up, I also want to be careful, Rita, that we're not adding so much work to an already overworked administration during this virtual learning experience too. So,
I'll clean it up and put it in board notes. We got it.
Yeah, we got this.
Right.
Thank you.
And do we need to vote on this?
Well,
It's a negotiation. So Rita, I'm looking at you right now as the long-term negotiation person. When we're taking a look at the stipends, is that something
Right.
that we should bring back to the board for?
To the full board.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So-
like the negotiation committee, approves it, wants to move it forward, and then the board votes on it.
Okay, so Peter, what you should be hearing from us is that by and large, by head nods that I'm receiving, in essence, we want this to be moving forward so that you guys could begin to be putting people in place, but that
Yes.
we will have a complete vote next week to seal the deal. But
Okay,
feel
great.
free to move to I'm saying feel free to move ahead and do whatever dancing you need to do.
Okay, thanks. So we'll go ahead and start the process for the head coaches and wait for your final approval on these.
Especially the fall.
Yeah,
Exactly. Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
you got it. Dr. Grenier, when we look at the agenda items, do we see anything that's on here also that our friends who are hanging out with us need to be part of?
no. I don't.
Okay. So you
Well,
guys.
excuse me. You might want to hear a little bit what they're going to say about technology.
Okay, so I'm going to move us back up to technology. Claire, once again, thank you so much for your help and support. It's always good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm now moving back up to number 4, which is the technology reentry plan.
Okay, so Mark, did Ken send you that by any chance? Because I have it.
And 2, Mark, it's the one that's labeled IT plan or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think, we also received that in our board notes.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
we did.
You did.
Yep.
Oh, good.
So just to orient you, if Mark looks a little exasperated, so I'm not sure it's actually coming. Well, anyway, let me orient you. We've got a plan that has 2. If you remember, there were 2 boxes. The first box is a reflection of what we think September 1st to hit the ground running we're going to need. And so I'm going to go through it line by line. The first thing is, when I said to Dennis, how many of the Chromebooks are end of life? Because they're good like for 5 years, and then after that, Google doesn't support them, so the kids can't use them for statewide tests and so forth. So he said it would be smart to replace about 1,200 of the Chromebooks, and that includes 300 for the high school kids that we always do, plus another 900. And then we wanted to get some carts, and there are the carts that we have now. It was very difficult to get the Chromebooks out and to get the battery out. The carts that we're looking at are sort of grab and go. We could, if we had to, I hate to say when we have to, but if we have to leave again. We also talked to the kindergarten and first grade teachers, and everybody said that tablets make a lot more sense as opposed to a Chromebook with a keypad, with a keypad. So what Dennis has come up with is something called Google Touchpad, or Chrome Touchpad. It's exactly like a Chromebook except it doesn't have a keyboard, and it has much better facility for young children. So we put 600 down. In other words, one for every kindergarten and first grade child. And then we already had, if you remember, we wanted to replace a bunch of interactive panels. Can you point as I go, Mark? So you see our interactive panels, 161.5. That was already in the plan. We talked to Dennis and Susan, and you might want to weigh in, but we're looking at software for the fall. One of the things that I heard the other day was the president of Yale was saying, you know, when we started this in mid-March, a lot of us went to Zoom, and he called that a primitive tool. You know, it's kind of like, bam, here it is. But there are some really sophisticated programs that we've been looking at, and actually probably Beth can also weigh in on this. But we'd really like to get some software that would really be very effective, but across the board. Software for the primary school children, for the other upper elementary, middle school, and high school. And then we already had some registration software in there, if you remember, for the Alliance grant. And then we had some Dennis says, back office infrastructure type things. So this is going to sound a little shocking, but we're sort of looking at, in a perfect world, we would buy about $1.1 million worth of technology. So then the question is, where could that come from? So that's the second part. Now, if you move the cursor down, we know, well, actually, we're going to talk about it in a minute. We know we cut $496,000 from the budget to get it down to zero. But above and beyond the 496, we know that we are going to, between STA, and by the way, they paid their people properly. Remember, some people said they weren't giving them overtime, and they did. And so we're going to release the money, but we're holding 10% back just to be sure they do the right thing. And then the curtain people, we settled up with them, and I think that's a fair amount. So there's $385,000 of cost avoidance. And then in the site budgets, we know we've got about 110,000. A lot of that was spring sports that we didn't have field trips, so we didn't have equipment, and a little bit of equipment, but we didn't have the contest. So there would be about $495,000 on the table to help support this technology purchase. And then we've talked to the Alliance people, and they've given us the go-ahead. The commissioner's number one thing, as you may have noticed with the CARES Act, is to be sure kids have the technology and the connectivity. So we think that Alliance money would be well spent on devices. I say with a little bit of hope, round about 2 or 3 weeks from now, we should get our DoD supplemental impact aid, please God. So if we get those two things, that would be 660,000. So we would 606. Thank you. We would be pretty much on track to get the kind of technology that we think September 1st would have us in good shape, and it would replace about a quarter. I know Kim is always concerned about making huge purchases and then they all run out at the same time. This would be about a quarter of our Chromebooks, and it would have us in decent shape, in good shape, to go to potential, perhaps distance learning, which I think may be in our future, or what I continually, I've been hearing this a lot, a partial opening, perhaps half of the kids for half of the day, or half of the kids one day and the other half the other day. But no matter how you slice it, kids are going to have to do academic work at home. So we want to be sure they've got the equipment at home, because even if we went essentially 50-50, 50% of the kids' work would be at home. So we want to be sure they've got the connectivity and the devices. So this is, as I said to Dennis, this is like the super great plan. Now, if we had to roll back, we would roll back. But this is kind of I don't want to say pie in the sky because I think we need this stuff. And when we start school on September 1st, we certainly don't want to have, 25% of our kids that we say, look, we're sorry, if the Chromebook that you had is no longer being supported. So, kind of.
Mike, could I add to this?
Sure.
So this is one of the reasons we want to put technology with instruction for our reentry plan. And we want to take every opportunity to keep these Chromebooks and hotspots in the hands of the kids even over the summer. The high school has always normally done that. We're really looking, and I'll be talking to the curriculum committee about, and I've talked to you all about expanding the Apex program, which is our summer program, and having middle school kids take advantage of that. So there's another important reason they should keep their computers. We also, I'm going to be working with librarians and some board members. We're on that committee for summer learning. So we're looking at a supplemental summer learning plan that kids could continue working on. And, the schools always plan a big celebration when they come back, and, they're part of the Governor's Reading Challenge. And, we have real books going home from Scholastic. So we're really excited about coordinating that. I've already had the Parks and Rec want to be part of that and make sure she's saying, what are you advising for summer learning? Because they want to be able to build that into their program. So for the kids who have the computers, we're not going to collect them back because they're really obsolete when they're returned, but they're certainly very usable for our kids now on the home front, so that learning can continue through the summer and we'll be ready to go in the fall.
Great.
Kim, I had a question.
I got Gretchen first and then you, Rita.
Okay, part one. Years and years, like we're going way back, and I had nothing to do with the board at that time, but having watched the budget sessions, we have on occasion bought technology and bought a lot of it because we had the money or this whatever. But by time we needed it, it was out of date. So I want us to really be mindful of how much we're purchasing and how quickly this stuff is going to become out of date, because so many young, bright minds are writing programs to make Zoom obsolete at the moment. So we really need to be mindful of, not getting too invested in one program or another until we're sure where this is going to go. I think we're going to see a lot of curriculum help through something like Zoom. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I just know somebody's going to do something. And the other thing I want us to be mindful of are not all programming or access is, the Chromebooks are not accessible to all learning programs. I know you hate Jake's stories, but this is like 2 weeks, this has been the semester. I have a Microsoft Surface. He has a Chromebook, and for one class, I had to change computers every day because one of his classes was not supported on Chrome. So I just want us to be very mindful that not everything is supported by Chrome. Rita,
Yeah. We're here.
Am I ready? Is it my turn? I had a question about the CARES Act, Mike, and the money that we are receiving from the state.
Yeah.
Is that $608,000?
682.
82. Now, does that money go to the town budget, town
It
fund?
comes to the board.
And then I thought that was going to be used for technology, a lot of it. That's what. So where are we using that money?
Well, that's a really good question. There are related expenses. Just off the top of my head, it would appear, although the State Department didn't put out its guidance yet, that when we come back, we have to take the temperature of every single person entering the building.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to provide PPE for every kid and every staff member.
PPE? Or you mean masks and gloves?
Just
Not
masks.
the gowns.
Not gloves, just masks. And so we're trying to figure out how we would actually take 1,200 people walking into the middle school and 1,200 people walking into the high school. So we're going to have to invest in some technology to get that done. we also know we're going to have to invest in probably some tutorial support for the kids. So Susan and I have been sort of counting our nickels along these lines, and every time we have a conversation, we say, well, the CARES Act could pay for that. And I think you're right. The technology, CARES Act certainly can pay for some technology, but I think there are some expenses as the details come out. Like for example, Beth is here and we've spoken about this. Let's say somebody has a pre-existing condition, and they've got legitimate concerns about coming into work. It's conceivable that we may have to provide a long-term substitute teacher for that person in the fall. So, and I just wrote a number. What if it were 10% of our staff? You'd have to hire 40 full-time substitute teachers. Wow. Maybe that's a worst case scenario. I don't know. I'm having nightmares about this.
So, I want to,
That's where my 682 might go.
Okay.
Well, no, I think it really is supposed to be around expanding instruction. So when you think about making summer an opportunity for this, we can certainly see where I don't want to charge kids to take a course credit recovery course or a tutorial. I'd like to be able to do that without a charge. So those kind of things where the CARES Act could pay for tutors or teachers, expanding the day. So before or after school, we could have tutorials for kids. So I think there's a lot of ways that we can help with instruction when we get our kids back, so that we fill in those gaps that they may or may not have.
I think Addie has a good question. Will there be hotspots, technology maintenance, or information available for students over the summer as well?
Like a call center, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, we do have the tech department working all summer. So I'm sure I can work that out with Dennis is actually on there, so he could answer this better for himself and his department.
Oh, hi, Dennis.
Hello. Yeah, we're going to continue the online form for students to request support, as well as the voicemail phone number that you can call in, and then we generate tickets off of that. So we're going to continue that throughout the summer.
That's awesome.
I should have known that was you that has all the technology in your background. I appreciate that. So is there more questions about how we're going to be doing the, I got you, 1 second, Gretchen. Is there any other questions about this topic? Gretchen, go.
I have a concern about getting masks to stay on our preschoolers and our kindergarten and first.
We're going to stay on topic. I don't disagree with you, but our topic is about the technology plan.
Okay, we were just talking about masks. Sorry.
Any other questions? Thank you for the detail about how that money, what we're going to need and where that's coming from. Ken, nice job. I appreciate that. It looks like, do we have more conversations about the transportation? Because it looks like.
No, that's it. I already told you. That's it.
That we got the
Yep.
in the curtain? Okay. Yep. And then the review of the required fiscal year 21 budget adjustments.
Mark, do you have that?
Mark, that was on the same email I sent you. Got it. So this is our a version of our object code summary, and what I've done here is that column in gray that's right in the middle of the page. That's the budget that was approved by the Board of Ed back in February, and so the total at the bottom is the 70. Where's the bottom? It looks different here.
Yeah, Mark, could you go down again? Keep going, keep going,
Keep going, there's more. Should be more. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
there it is. Okay.
Okay.
And so that was the 77,934,550. That's what the board had approved back at the end of February. As we all know, the town council and RTM have approved a budget for us of the same as last year, which is the 77,438 and $90. And what this object code summary does is just outline how we get from what the board approved to what the town it has approved. So if you go back up again, Mark, sorry. And so the areas that we're taking that from, and you're going to see this in the second from right column under decrease, is here 160,000 from other benefits, and what this represents is retirement severance payments to teachers, and we're going to accelerate those and pay those in June this year versus paying them in July. So that's where 160,000 will come from. A little bit further down, Mark. Then under instructional supplies, 130,000. This is the bid list. So the paper, the pencils, the crayons, that type of thing. You know, we send that out to bid, and we are going to pay for it with FY20 funds, and we can cut that from FY21. Next amount down, the 65,460 under, that's transportation supplies. And so we had a contract to buy diesel, and we didn't use it all this year because we weren't running the buses for the last third. And so we will utilize those gallons that we did not use this year, but did have to pay for them because we had a contract. We'll utilize that, and we'll reduce what we need next year. The next amount down is 50,000 from that's custodial supplies that we can purchase and have on hand with FY20 money. And then a little bit further down, Mark, on the next page, 91,000 of, yes, all messed up, but that's non-instructional equipment. So that was a piece of maintenance equipment, and $60,000 of IT infrastructure that we had hoped to have in the budget, but we'll cut it here, but we'll pay for it. We'll buy it this year, FY20.
Are there questions? It's hard for me to see with the spreadsheet up, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. It's creating really good skills.
Yeah.
Do we have questions about that?
No.
Thank you very much, Ken. That's amazing. So I'm going to move us on to update food service funding. Rita,
Well,
I believe that this was your agenda wish. Dr. Grenier, where are you? There
Yeah.
you are.
Whose
Right.
was it? Was it Rita's?
Yeah, it was about how we were doing funding for this extended time period with the kids with the COVID, and also whether we were going to be able to use SNAP. Is that correct, Rita?
Right, the funding that the state is giving for all the Title I programs.
Right. So the SNAP funding, it goes directly to the families. That has no impact on schools.
No, yeah, no, I meant the Title I monies that the state is giving out. I thought it was basically for food.
I think that was, I'm gonna have to check that. I think that was supplemental.
Right.
But
It was quite a bit from what I understood, and I was just wondering, I know we had to pay our staff more money because of everything that's been happening and the wonderful job they're doing feeding all the children. And I was wondering if we could use any of that money to offset what we had to pay out.
And you think it's additional Title I money?
Yes, it was. That's what they said at Learn, yeah.
Okay, I'll find out about that. we did put in for FEMA reimbursement for the 73,000. So maybe it's tied up. I'll find out though. I'll report next
Okay.
week.
Maybe I could see the board notes, Mike.
Yeah, okay, good.
And then update on the Treehouse Summer Program.
Okay. So the Treehouse Summer Program, I've been working closely with Nikki Salon, and the big highlights are, this is a program that is controlled or governed by the Office of Early Childhood. It's the same office that controls summer camps and childcare, as opposed to summer school. We haven't received the summer school. That's from the State Education Department. So the guidance they gave us was that we would be able to open on June 22nd. We would be able to go all the way until August 14th. So that's Nikki's plan. We can only have, without a waiver, you can only have 30 children in a program. But if you have a whole school, then we believe we'll be eligible for a waiver. So last summer we had about 110 students, and we already have about 75 who have registered. As you can imagine, the parents are anxious to get childcare. So the program would go from 7 in the morning till 5 at night. If you remember, Jay, we talked about the funding for this. It's, don't quote me, but I think it was 175 for people who are in the program per week, 200 for Groton people who are not in the program, and 225 for out of town people. It would be at Northeast Academy and Catherine Konowski, but here's the, she just sent me the funding, and the problem is, if we, the other big thing is they have to double the staff. You have to have 1 to 5. You can only have 10 children in a subgroup. You could have 30 in a group, in a large group, well, in the building, but you can only have 10 per class, 10 per little subgroup. And there has to be 2 staff members, 1 to 5 ratio for the kids. So we've had to increase the staff. The proposal is to increase the staff. At the end of the rainbow, if we get 120 people, of course, if we don't get 120 people, we wouldn't have that much staff. It would run about a $12,000 deficit. The enterprise fund would, for that 8-week period, would run about $12,000 short. If the board chose, of course, that could be paid for. This is another CARES Act thing. You know, like I said, Susan and I have already spent it about 500 times over. But the CARES Act, I mean, clearly this is something that would be of great interest to the community. And I know the governor was pushing it like crazy. And it may even be a reimbursable FEMA type thing. But if the board chose to pick up, if you remember, the board chose to pick up the salary for the 2 directors. If we picked up the salary, it'd be another 20, about 20, 12, what did I say? About another 22,000. So the enterprise fund would have a $34,000 deficit. We could do it one way or the other. I think this is after Wednesday, I think this is going to become an even more needed program. So we're hoping to get the kids through school, and then on the what I said, the 22nd of June, the children would come into the 2 programs and go until the 14th of August. And I'll bring back the numbers next week for decisions about whether the board is interested in funding this, or like I said, it could go to the CARES Act.
Rita, and then Liz.
Right now you have 2 facilities, you said in your board notes, Kolnowski with 30 students and Northeast Academy with 30 students, correct?
Well, no, with 60 students, because we're going for a waiver.
Oh, well, in the board notes, it's at 30 and 30, I believe.
Yeah.
So you want to have 120.
Correct.
Rather than just those 2 sites, you wouldn't want to open up like in maybe Mary Morrison or something? Is there another air-conditioned facility? I was just thinking that, you know, to spread it out where you wouldn't need to have the waivers if we could have it in one of our other schools.
Oh, well, actually, the way I think the 30, if you could picture 30 in sort of like a small church facility or something, but in a school, we could certainly accommodate 60 children. That would not be a problem at all. So we've actually already filed for the waiver, but I think the schools, Sam, Mary Morrison, SB Butler, help me out.
They're all being
Charles
used for
Barnum.
Parks and Rec programs.
Yeah.
Oh, Charles Barnum.
Yeah, because we lost both middle schools, so we're really sort of scrunching here.
Right, but you're using the marine science. The city's using marine
Yes.
science for recreation.
Well, I know they asked. I don't know if that's been determined.
It's been approved.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Rita's on the Learn board, so she knows.
Yeah, it was approved at our last
good.
meeting.
Yeah,
Yep.
I recommended it, and so good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Liz?
I'm not understanding something. So you're asking the board to pay for or to have more money that we have to come up with to be able to pay for this program. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And the amount would be now, what's the amount, Mike? Because I've heard a couple of different numbers.
If the board continues to pay for the director, the director and the co-director, or the assistant director, and for the additional staff, the total possible cost would be $34,000 to the enterprise fund.
All right, I'm sorry. The enterprise fund is?
But the enterprise fund is, we have 2 of them in the district. They essentially are self-sustaining. It's the food service program and the treehouse. The board usually doesn't give any money to treehouse.
But if we, so I still don't get it, and I'm sorry. And if you want to talk to me about it, I don't want to extend time here, but so this enterprise fund, is this monies that we have set aside within our budget?
No, it's revenue from the parents.
Right.
They
let
pay.
me just try 1 second.
Okay.
So Treehouse is basically self-sufficient.
Right.
They get monies, and then that pays the salary. And
okay.
But it's underneath the umbrella of the Groton School District. Just like our food service program is another enterprise program that basically they fund themselves. But because of COVID, we made a decision about a month and a half ago that we would keep that we would pay this year for the continuation of the salaries of the director and co-director, because we didn't want to lose them, because we didn't quite know what was happening, because they are our before and after school program. They weren't getting any money coming in to support their salaries because there was no school.
Right.
What is on the table is that they are, because the requirements of COVID are requiring us to have more staff to students. It increases what they bring in, and what they need is no longer in balance. And so what the administration is asking is for us to be willing to fill in that balance. So it's what we've already approved plus whatever the cost is for the balance. That's what's on the table.
So would that money come from then?
That is a very appropriate question to ask.
CARES
Okay,
Act.
because that's what I don't get.
It would come from the CARES Act. It has to come
Okay.
out of the 682.
All right. Thank you.
That's one place it could come out of.
Okay.
But like you said, you mentioned all the other things we need, the thermometers, and I mean,
No,
we'd
no,
have
you're
to
right.
have it set up
You're
even
right.
then.
You're 100% right.
I guess for me is what I'm struggling with is I think that childcare is going to be very important, especially as many of our parents are going to be needing to go back to work because they haven't been able to work, and then they rely on our childcare to be able to help support them. So my sense is that this is so weird and so different that if we could sort of figure out, I think that this is a very appropriate, not to say that you have not said anything that isn't appropriate for the CARES Act, but this feels very much like a CARES Act move because it is absolutely because of COVID, because we're having to change our regulations to meet those requirements. That's for me. That's just my personal thing. My second question to that is this. This is not going to be our only go around.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what their plan is. I get it that this was not expected by anyone. And so they left basically holding the bag like many of us. But I don't know if we would be able to sustain helping them out. And so I want to know, I don't know, I don't think we can demand it, but I kind of want to know what their plan is because what they're saying is there's a really good chance that we might be having to do this dance over again, or a dance very similar to what we're doing right now with COVID. And so I would kind of want to make sure that they had some type of emergency plan in place to either close down or that they have monies set aside for that if they can. But that's just one woman's opinion.
I think, Jay, we might want to go back to the drawing board because the real question on the table is, tell me about revenue. We could charge more. And if we charge more, there would be more revenue and it would be more sustainable.
I agree.
That's sort of the blunt reality of it, at least to get us through this.
Well, when we discussed this at finance before we really understood the ramifications of this pandemic. We discussed raising it modestly, but by the same token, we don't want to price people out at a time when they're having financial difficulties.
Right.
So,
right.
Obviously we need to balance that. And if it is going to be available through the CARES Act, I mean, that's what that's there for.
Yeah. Okay. That's another thing for the CARES Act.
Gretchen?
We can't, as much as I appreciate people need to go back to work, many of the rest of the town do not have children who ever went to daycare. And we can't now turn around and say, hi, you haven't worked in 10 weeks. We're going to raise taxes. We can't turn around and put this on the taxpayer at this point. I asked for a 1% increase. I would have been happy for these kind of contingencies. But at this point, that was said no to. So turning around and asking taxpayers who aren't working because of COVID to pay for other people to go back to work kind of.
So Gretchen, we're not talking about going back to the town council and saying we need extra money. We're talking about either funding this through the CARES Act or funding it through our own budget, which we need to hear from Ken about where we could do it. I doubt if I would. So none of us are talking about going back to the town council saying that we need extra money to pay for childcare. And just for point of clarification, the people who have not been working for the past 10 weeks was of no fault of their own. It was a pandemic and they lost their jobs.
I'm quite aware of that. I have not been working in many, many weeks.
But your comment about making choices
depended on my income.
Any other questions about the treehouse?
Yeah, if we raise, it feels awkward to me to say, let's pay for daycare. Let's take a bigger hit out of some other child's either special ed or whatever other programs. Let's not do sports. I mean, we may not do sports anyway. Who knows? But I just really worry about saying yes to any program that's going to put us in negative numbers. I'm really bad at that math. I guess I'm the
Just my final comment would be, this was in the conference call we had with the governor and the commissioner. Childcare was very high on their list. It's very important to the state of Connecticut. So, you know, what we could do, I certainly would like to do our fair share.
Well, our people can't go back to work if we don't have childcare.
Right.
Any other comment about this?
I just think we need to be very careful in how we do this and how we think it through. That's all.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
we agree.
I hear you. We can't just kind of throw the money out of nowhere. We need to have a plan. I get it.
As a board member, I'm not just supporting this. We are not, all of us. We support the entire community, not just the children. We also have to think of, you know, the littles and the old, you know, the Dr. Ackermans. I love you. Let's keep the whole community.
So I'm going to move us on to the last agenda item, which is the referral list.
Yep, there were some duplicates on here, Kim, like for finance and for policy. The finance one about determining limits for advertising done, and then it's also in policy. Should it be in one place before the other, or is it going to be done at the same time?
We have done that before. We've met together when we've had to.
Well, is it still a question?
Jay, has your committee gone through that?
Jay?
Come back, Jay.
Yes, yeah, we've discussed it a few times.
Okay.
We have to.
And has a policy been set?
We have a policy, but I think there was something to do with the actual financial piece. Let's take a look at that. We'll get back to you. Ken and I will look through it and see.
The other one I didn't understand was maybe somebody is the Good Samaritan, R 2020-3?
That's a new policy that we're looking into, Good Samaritan. Remember when we had the discussion about who can give the medication?
Right.
And that, you know, we said the nurse was the one at the school that could give the medication. Well, a Good Samaritan policy would ensure that if there was someone else on the field that was trained and needed to help support that student, that would be covered.
Okay. Liz, we had a brilliant moment last time about an item to go into, I believe, curriculum, or was it policy? And I can't read my notes, so I don't remember. And I know, Liz, it had something to be what you were saying, and I said that's a really good thing for I think it was actually policy, but I can't freaking remember. It was about
I should find my notes.
It was about music. It was in high school. It was about the difference between.
Oh, wait a minute, I lost it.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
So I know you had that one, and I know that we wanted to bring it out and put it into a smaller committee.
We were talking about the sports, I believe.
And then Liz brought up the conversation about what about
it's
grade point average.
Grade point
Extracurricular
average, right.
eligibility.
Eligibility.
Right.
If we have three minds, we could get one thought.
Right.
That's why we work so well together.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about the referral list?
Well, I just wanted to ask policy, some of these are 317. Is there anything you've done that we could take off?
I was looking for that. There's a whole set, Dennis is on here. There's a whole set around technology, and we've done a lot of work around technology. So let me talk to him about those, because I saw a whole cluster of them.
Right.
And that's the electronic communications, electronic information. Okay. And what about some of the ones that were put on in 2016 under COWs?
Yep. I think that that's ongoing about the policies and procedures for the Board of Ed, because I think that those have not been.
Yeah, that could really come off because it's ongoing.
Right.
It's not like we're cheating.
And you have still the discussion about alternative high school.
Right, and could that be combined with the last one there, discuss regional approach to transition academy and alternative high school?
Let's do that. And then let's move that to a 2020.
Sure. And then there was another one by Katrina, investigation of racial bias. It was done on, was it done on the retreat?
No, she wanted a retreat of that, of understanding implicit bias.
Okay.
But I don't know what to do about that, because I don't see a retreat happening anytime soon, because it would be in person to do a retreat.
We were going to have a great speaker for our March 12th date, and I think we're still going to be able to have her back virtually in the beginning of the year in August. So that could be an option that we could prepare one of her talks for the board, if even in a virtual way.
That would be great.
Yeah. So you might as well leave it on.
Might as well leave it on.
Katrina also had discussion of student achievement by subgroups.
Yeah, I think that should stay on personally.
Yep.
Because it's going to be, especially, you know, we don't know what's going to be happening to these kids when they're tested next year.
So could we then change that? It's same. It's going to be the same. It's the same but different, because I mean, do we want to?
No, I mean, maybe we should have something about learning and COVID, and you know how much kids might have lost, and maybe that's another topic.
Yep, I see that in January.
Well, I think that's part of our roadmap,
yes,
school roadmap. You know,
definitely.
Part of what we've got to do at the beginning of school is to figure out where the heck these kids are.
Yeah.
Right. Anything
well,
else?
let's hope they're in school.
Yeah, please God.
Yeah, I know.
On behalf of my daughters, I say that.
Everyone.
Yeah, no, I got it. We got a nice compliment today. I went to, I had to have a blood test and I went to the walk-in clinic, and as soon as she saw my name, she said, "Oh, you know, I got third grader and a fifth grader, and you guys are doing such a fabulous job and everything." But she was like a little guilty. She said, "But I really can't help the kids until at night and at weekends." And I said, "Well, that's why we kind of built in the flexibility." And she was so appreciative. She said, that has really saved us, that the parents, because we know the parents are going crazy. And but you're right. We need to be safe, but we need to get back to school.
Right. Are they going to do anything for field days? You know how they have like field days, and are they?
That's a good question.
They're doing the reverse carpool, so that they've all done that. And I have heard a couple. I think the PE department was getting together and working on a virtual field day that would happen. I see Beth raising her hand.
We are doing a virtual field day across elementary.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I noticed my little granddaughters are doing it in DC, but theirs is next week. They're ending early so that teachers can have 3 weeks to do more work.
Yeah.
Prepare. Yeah, because they're going to go back to school earlier in August.
I see.
Oh.
To help with because they've missed so much.
Right.
So, yeah.
I do know that, Liz, and it sounds like we need to get going on that. So I'm going to ask that we put that onto our regular board meeting next week, which is the clarification of the humanities curriculum coordinator,
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yep.
that we will do those other three to make sure that we're really clear about what they want.
Mike, we have a lot of homework. We might need a meeting tomorrow. I've got my list, you've got yours.
So
you're gonna have a big board packet.
Kim?
Kim?
Yes, Lee.
I'm on low battery right now.
Okay.
Okay, we're leaving.
We're almost done.
Thank you,
I have one
guys.
question.
Yes.
I have a question for Dr. Guernier. You talked about forming committees, and I haven't heard anything more about that.
We're gonna promulgate it in the next day or so.
I've already got you on mine.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
We're pulling it all together.
Okay.
And because we sent in information, right?
I got you, and I told the committee chairs, and they'll reach out to you.
Good.
Gretchen?
Can we put on the list discussing possibly testing the students at the very beginning of the year to see where they are, and maybe we could,
That's what
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of the roadmap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got that one covered. Yeah.
happy to help.
And
And
boy,
or be a nuisance.
we're even talking about some summer screenings for preschool and kindergartners.
Yeah.
So, and having it at the schools. So we're already like, how can we get a step ahead of this and bring in small groups and, the summer learning with middle school and high school, I think that's going to be essential. So.
Well, I think there's going to be cases where some kids have had parents who could be very rigorous and them on that, and others who struggle.
Yep.
So that will be a conversation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely. Any else?
Yeah.
Kim, my computer is fine, but I'm on low battery.
I'm on low battery too.
Well, in that case, Kim, is it time?
Yes.
By the way, Kim, before I do that, I sent you 2 emails. I don't know if you got them. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you all.
See you tomorrow morning. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.